always thought that the Rokon Ranger and the Rokon Trailbreaker two-wheel drive mini bikes were kind of cool, and they're kind of expensive. But then my dad sends me a picture where somebody made their own two-wheel drive mini bike out of a Coleman bike. So then I thought, I got the perfect bike for that. So I figure I'll use this bike, this Coleman CC100X. It has a Predator block, a Tillotson 212 head, a Coleman carb, a Ghost flywheel and coil. So it's got multiple different parts on it. So this bike has a 75 rear sprocket. So then I have the exact same wheel line around here off of a different bike with the same sprocket. So this will make a nice front wheel, even has the same tire. So I think this will work out on the front. And then I could build an engine mount off of the forks here, and then mount another engine here, and then run the chain down with the sprocket. I mean, I don't know how it'll steer, but you know. So I'm gonna mount the engine on the front of the CC100X, and then we'll see what happens. I mean, the steering might be a little bit heavy, but you never know. I mean, it might run pretty good. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? And then we got plenty of engines lying around here. So I figure I'll use a Predator 212, which is probably pretty similar to what's on the bike right now. Go ahead and pull this front wheel off of here and then mount this rear wheel on there. And that way I can get an alignment for that chain. So if you look at this thing, it's just a little bit too narrow where it hits, where it kind of hits on the sprocket. But that's an easy fix. I'll just stretch the forks a little bit. Nothing a floor jack can't fix. Just kind of pump this jack up a little bit and stretch these out. All right, that'll work. So let me bolt that down on there. And that gives me plenty of space here for a chain. So that looks like it's gonna work out. So now let me figure out my mounts here. Cut some metal and come off here straight. The engine has to set off of here a ways. One of these bars off of here, maybe like a foot out. So let me cut some metal there. So maybe throw something on here like that. So let me cut those up. So I got my metal all cut. So I think that'll work pretty good on there. And then I put some, cut some spacers that I can use for motor mounts. Let's just weld this up like that. So I got my bracket welded up, or my motor mount, and I put the motor mount to the left side. That way I could leave the right side totally clear so it wouldn't have any chain issues. So now I will weld that up. And then once I do that, I can figure out where to drill the holes for the motor. So I made up a couple braces to put on the mount here. And I already welded on the other side. I think that'll be sturdy enough. All right, that looks pretty good. I got this thing all painted up. Looks pretty cool. So now I'll throw that engine on there and line up the chain. So it looks like that'll work, and nothing interferes with the chain. All right, that turned out pretty good. I bet the steering is gonna be super light. Go ahead and break this chain. So it seems like it runs pretty good, but the only thing is the steering feels pretty heavy for some reason. But other than that, I gotta hook up the throttle and then I think we'll be good to go. Okay, so I got the throttle working on both engines. It seemed to work out pretty good. So I used this Amazon cable, and it has 2 connections on one side and then one on the other. And then it hooks to the twist grip, just like any other cable would. So I guess there's only one thing to do now, and that's go test it out. So let's go see if this thing can climb some hills. See if these things will start up. Man, this thing is quick. Man, it sounds like a 2-cylinder. It sounds cool. This thing seems as quick as an electric bike. We get this draggy hooked up here. Make sure we're all good. Yeah, everything looks good. Actually, the steering's not as bad as I thought once you get going. 0 to 30, 2-wheel drives, CC 100X. Man, this thing's pretty quick. Alright, let's see what it did. Just 0 to 30 in 3.5 seconds. Man, it's quick. Who needs a torque converter when you got this much torque? Now, I know the top speed's not going to be that good, but that's okay. Already topped out. Man, this thing's quick. Runs surprisingly well. Wonder how to climb hills. Let's find out. I'm gonna start out with a little hill. I'll just go up this driveway real quick. This dirt driveway. Man, this is bumpy. Not even a problem. I'm barely even giving it gas. It goes right up this hill. Man, this thing's awesome. Who needs a torque converter? thing sounds pretty cool. I wonder if it'll climb a big hill. Let me go up that hill. Oh man, that was a hard climb. We made it to the top. Man, that was a hard climb. It's windy up here. There's so many rocks, it's kind of hard to control with that engine on the front. If it wasn't so rocky, man, that thing would pull some serious hills. That thing's pretty quick. So who needs a torque converter when you can do front wheel drive burnouts and pretty much climb any hill you want, unless it's rocky?